Okay, our topic for today will be the first method or technique or tool on capital budgeting, the payback period. Okay, the payback period is a non-cash discounted method of capital budgeting. Payback period is a traditional and simple most method of capital budgeting. It is defined as length of time that is required for a stream of cash inflows from the investment to recover the original cash outlay invested in the project. In other words, guys, the payback period, ito po yung sinasabi natin, if we invest a part, if we invest, no, or if we provide a cash outflow on a particular fixed asset, ilang taon pwede mabalik yung puhunang ibinigay natin on that particular investment. So, yun yung payback period. Take note, our objective, if we want to have a good investment, if we are going to evaluate the investment using the payback period, dapat mas lesser number of periods or the lesser payback period yung kailangan ma-achieve. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, if for example, 3 taon lang yung payback period mo, beyond 3 years, that is your income already. Okay? Kasi pag mas mahaba yung payback period, it will be difficult for the company to recover the cost of investment. Okay? And then we can never tell what will happen on the next periods. So, it is very important for the company to have a smaller length, should I say, shorter length of time to recover the investment. Okay? So, I prepared 3 different illustrations about payback period. The first illustration that I will provide is, what if there is an investment and then the annual cash inflow on that particular investment is even? Ibig sabihin, every year pare-pareho yung cash investment, cash inflow na papasok. Guys, if we talk about cash inflow, cash to ha, it is not the net income easily. Immediately, because the net income, there are deductions or expenses deducted na hindi cash. So if the problem will provide a an accounting income, you need to add back any non-cash expenses in order for you to identify the annual cash inflow. So what if naman if there is a non-cash inflow on the computation of that income, you need to deduct that because that income na hindi man talaga cash, hindi yun yung annual cash inflow. So, hindi lahat po ng net income na makikita sa problem is immediately the annual cash inflow, ha? We need to identify first what are the cash income and what are the non-cash income, at the same time yung cash expenses at non-cash expenses. Okay? So that you can identify talaga what is the correct annual cash inflow, because the annual cash inflow is very important in determining the payback period and any other methods on capital budgeting. So let's begin with problem number 1. The Delta Company is planning to purchase a machine known as Machine X. Machine X would cost $25,000 and would have a useful life of 10 years with zero salvage value. The expected annual cash inflow of the machine is $10,000. So from this said problem, the annual cash outflow, which is our cost of investment in this case, is, okay, annual cash outflow is, okay, 25,000. If we want to know the payback period for the 25,000 na investment natin, we need to divide 25,000 to the annual cash inflow of the said machine. In this case, the annual cash inflow, kasi every year, no, they expect na uniform yung cash inflow na $10,000 every year. So this, they expect na even, okay, yung cash inflow, hindi siya magfa-fluctuate. So, that case, we need to divide 10,000, no? Okay? I mean 25,000 to 10,000 pesos. So we have annual cash inflow, okay, of 10,000. Okay? So to determine the payback period, that is simply dividing 25,000 to the 10,000 even cash inflow. In this case, we can interpret that the payback period of the machine X is 2.5 years. Take note, this is more on periods, kaya years. If you want to make it more accurate, sasabihin mo that is 2 years and 6 months. Okay? In just 2 years and 6 months, pwedeng ma-recover yung 25,000 na cost of investment natin. Okay? So, sir, what if um, pagka pagka 7th month, I mean after 2 years and 6 months, ano po yung mangyayari on the 7th month of the 3rd year? Yun na po yung sasabihin mo, okay, ito na po talaga yung kita ko. Okay? Ibig sabihin, bawing-bawi na po ako sa investment kong inilagay on that particular um, machine. Okay? Yun po yung ibig sabihin nun. Okay? In most business, ito yung way nila how to determine kung kailan makakabawi on the particular investment. So, that is 2.5 years. Sir, what if, kasi in reality naman, no, diba, that once we invest, no, hindi naman parating ito yung range, ito yung amount of annual cash inflow na meron tayo. Okay? What will happen? How are we going to compute that? Later we will discuss that, no, on uneven cash inflow. I prepare another illustration and payback period wherein ito mas detailed to, which is most common in the actual board exam, wherein you are provided with the annual cash inflow, the annual cash outflow, and non-cash expenses. Okay? So, how are we going to prepare the payback period? Okay? Take note, this maximum desired payback period is not yet the payback period. Ibig sabihin, itong the useful life of 10 year of equipment is 10 years and the company's maximum desired payback period is 4 years. Ibig sabihin lang po nun, gustong i-target ng company na mabawi yung investment after 4 years. Okay? If it goes beyond 4 years, it means na posibleng hindi mag-continue yung investment. Okay? That is their threshold year. So, para mag-continue yung company to invest on that particular investment, dapat it must be less than 4 years. Yun po yung pwede natin gawin on that particular information related to maximum desired payback period. Okay, so let us read the problem. Due to increased demand, the management of Rani Beverage Company is considering to purchase a new equipment to increase the production of revenues. The useful life of the equipment is 10 years, and the company's maximum desired payback period is 4 years. Sir, what if pala, no, if your payback period is beyond the useful life of the company, should I continue to invest on that particular equipment, fixed assets, or any type of long-term investment? Well, the answer is no, no, guys. If the useful life, if the payback period is beyond the useful life, it is not a good investment anymore, because isipin mo, no, magde-depreciate yung isang equipment and then later on yung payback after 10 years mo pa or beyond 10 years mo pa mababawi yung investment. Parang hindi yun masaya, no? Very impractical na mag-invest ka pa doon. Okay? So, importante po din yon. That is the application of the payback period. Okay, the inflow and outflow of cash associated with the new equipment is given below. Take note the problem provided the initial cost of equipment, which we will assume that this is the cost or the annual cash outflow of the investment. So we have the annual cash outflow. Take note this 37,000 will be considered as the cash outflow, okay, of investment. Sir, hindi po binigay yung cash inflow. Ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina that if ever no the company will ask will the problem will provide you information relating to the income statement information. The annual cash inflow must include, guys, the annual cash inflows or cash income only, then deduct all cash expenses. All non-cash expenses shall not be deducted on the cash income. So what if kung meron pong mga non-cash income, wag po natin yon isama sa cash inflow. Take note, we are looking here for annual cash inflow from the word cash. So, ibig sabihin, cash lang ang dapat maisama, okay, on the determination of the annual cash inflow. In any non-cash income or non-cash expenses must be precluded in the computation of the annual cash inflow. Okay, so how are we going to compute for the annual cash inflow? Simple lang po yun. Differentiate the cash inflows and the cash outflows. In this case, the annual cash outflow is related to achieving the sales is adding 45,000. Ito yung annual cash outflow. Okay. Outflow. Cash expenses, which is we have 45,000 plus 13,500 plus 1,500. That is the annual cash expenses. The depreciation expense is a non-cash expense. Take note. So, hindi po natin siya isasama on the computation of the, what we call this, of the annual cash inflow. So, annual cash expenses, let us determine the annual cash income. Okay. The annual cash income in this case is 75,000. So, 75,000 divided by 60 minus 60,000. Our annual cash income in this case is 15,000 pesos. So, can we now compute for the annual of the payback period? Yes, we can now compute for the payback period. So, remember the initial cost of investment or the cost of investment is 75,000. And then we have the annual cash inflow. So that is 15,000. So 75,000 divided by 15,000. So in this case, our payback period is 5 years. Okay? Is this a good investment if this would be the case? No, actually good investment pa rin naman siya considering that it is less than 10 years. Okay? Compared to the useful life. Pero if you are going to compare that to the maximum desired payback period, which is 4 years, kasi baka naging conservative ang company, na dapat within 4 years mabawi yung investment, the company would say that the investment is not good because we can recover the said investment of 37,005 of ay parang may mali. This is 37,500 pala. Sorry. 37,500 Hindi pala yung 75,000. Sorry, no? So, the cash outflow is 37,500 divided by annual cash income of 15,000. So, the payback period is 2.5 years. So, this is a good investment because it is less than the desired payback period of 4 years. So, 2.5 years pa lang, bawing-bawi na po tayo sa cost of investment natin. Sir, what if kung ngayong nangyari nga, yung kanina na may error na naging 5 years, would you continue to the said investment assuming you use the payback period? Well, if I will be the advisor of that particular company, I would say we need to continue the said investment kasi um, in 5 years, pwede naman mabawi. Yung maximum desired payback period is just a threshold year. So, um, what is 1 year, ano? One year lang naman yung linampas. Pero pag sinabing 8 years na yan, yung payback period, at 2 taon na lang makakabawi tayo, parang hindi na po yun masaya. Okay? So, um, pero, theoretically, no, pwedeng sabihin that 4 or 5 years, if ever the cash outflow was 75,000, I would say theoretically, no, and academically, pwedeng sabihin hindi po siya magandang investment because it goes beyond the maximum desired payback period. Pero in reality, pwede po siyang magandang investment kasi kalahati lang ng useful life mababawi, then yung kalahati ng useful life kita na po natin or income on that particular machine. Okay? So, how about naman um if the investment and its cash inflows are not equal to each other, like in this particular problem na year 1 to year 6, iba-iba po yung cash inflow. How are we going to compute for the payback period? Okay. In even, kung pag-even yung annual cash inflow, madali lang. We just divide the annual cost of the cost of investment over the annual cash inflow. Pag uneven po yung cash inflows, we cannot use that particular formula. Yung kailangan po natin gawin dito is step by step, no? Parang we are trying to test the water here. Okay? So, let's begin, no? I will prepare a table. We have year 1, year 2, year 3, then we have year 4, then we have year 5. Year 5 and year 6. Then this is the annual cash inflow. Annual cash inflow, we have 70,000 for year 1. Okay? 70,000 for year 1. 60,000 for year 2. And then we have 55,000 for year 3. Then we have 40,000 for year 4. We have 30,000 for year 5 and 25,000 for year 6. And then cash inflow to date. Okay. So as of year 1, we have 70,000. Okay. And then for year 2, as of to date, we have 70,000 of the previous period plus year 2. So as of to date, we have 130,000. So ibig sabihin, on year 1, remember our cost of investment. Okay, this is our cost of investment in this particular problem. The cost of investment is 200,000. On year 1, 70,000 lang po yung annual cash inflow natin. So, hindi pa po natin nabawi yung 200,000 na investment. So, lilipas pa ng additional year, which is year 2. Okay? So, 70 plus 60, bawi na po tayo 130,000 of the 200,000. So, hindi pa rin kompleto, no? How about on the year on the third year. So 130 plus 55. So we have 185. If that if that is 185 already, let's us check. Take note of 185 na po tayo sa year 3. So ibig sabihin, more or less, ilang percent na po yata ito. Porsyento yung nabawi natin from the investment. 185 divided by 200. That is 92.5% already. Yung pwede natin sabihin na na-recover natin after 3 years. Tanong mo ngayon is on year 4. Take note, year 4, you have 40,000. Okay? If we're going to add 185 plus 40,000, that is 225. 225 cash inflow to date after year 4 goes beyond already on the cost of investment. So, 225 po yun ha. Take note ha, 225 versus 200. Ibig sabihin, on year 4, bawing-bawi na po tayo at meron pa po tayong excess na 25,000 pesos. Pero we are not after the excess here. We are after ilang years pwede mabawi yung 200,000 na cost and investment provided that the annual cash inflow is uneven. Okay? So, paano po natin kukumputin yon? Okay? Take note, we have 1 year, plus 1 year, plus 1 year. So, obviously, in 3 years, in 3 year time, we can recover 185. So, ilan pa yung kulang dyan? So, we need to compute that. Cost of investment natin is 200,000, and then we need to deduct the 185,000 after year 3, the annual cash inflow, to determine ilan pa ang kailangan makompute. In this case, we have 15,000 pesos need to recover on year 4. Okay, on year 4. So, if 15,000 pa yung dapat i-recover on year 4, and then on year 4, the annual cash inflow is 40,000. Ilang periods kaya? Okay? Pwede po natin ma-achieve yung 15,000 from year 4. All we need to do is to divide 15,000 to 40,000. Parang i-prorate lang po natin yon 40,000. So that if 15,000 divided by 40, that is 0.375. So, if yan po yung mangyari, no? If yan po yung mangyari, we can say that the payback period is 3 years. 3 years kasi within 3 years we can recover 185,000. 0.375 kasi yung 0.375 is to recover the 15,000, okay, na dapat pang ipandagdag on the particular investment. So, ito po yung sagot. Okay? 3.375 years. Okay? So, that is the payback period. That's how we compute the payback period using the if uneven po yung annual cash inflow. Okay? All you need to do is to always determine the cash inflow to date in every year, and then if malapit na po siya, no? Take note, 185, that is kulang na lang ng 15, and then 40,000 naman yung expected annual cash inflow natin from year 4. So, ano yung prorata of 15,000 to 40,000, which is yun yung 0.375 or equivalent to how many months yan? That is 12 months. That is 4.5 months. That is 3 years and 4.5 months. Okay? So, the payback period in this problem for uneven cash inflow is 3.375. Okay, from those 3 illustrations, we can now identify the advantages of payback period and its disadvantages. Take note, one of the advantage of the payback period, an investment project with a short payback period promises the quick inflow of cash. Yun po yung sinasabi ko kanina, no? Okay, we can able to determine easily, okay, the number of years pwede natin ma-recover yung investment. And take note, a shorter payback period will promises the quick inflow of cash. It is therefore a use of capital budgeting method for a cash poor firms. Another is that a project with short payback period can improve the liquidity position of the business quickly. Ano po ba ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin, if we can able to generate cash, no, easily, okay, maraming cash ang na-generate natin, the payback on that particular investment, the liquidity of the company is keep on increasing. Yun po yung pwede natin maibigay na interpretasyon on the payback period. The payback period is important for the firms for which liquidity is very important. Ito, no, yun po yung isa pong factor why we are going to target na mas shorter yung payback period, because we want the liquidity of the company to increase. If not increase, at least ma-maintain po natin yung liquidity of the company. Take note, liquidity is very important to any type of business or to any businesses, because this this corresponds, no, or constitute the availability of the company to pay its debts when it is on demand. So, if the company is highly liquid, ibig sabihin, pwedeng marami ang magpautang sa'yo because you can easily generate cash and then you can easily recover any investments that you have. The third advantage of payback period is an investment with a short payback period makes the funds available soon to invest in another project. Tama din yon. Because if we can able to generate cash easily, faster, okay, aggressive po tayo nakaka-generate ng cash, and then once we already recover the particular investment, whatever excess on the after the payback period, for example, no, on the examples that I have presented to you, take note that one of the investment that we have is a useful life of 10 years, and the particular investment can be recovered within 2.5 years. So, hindi pa ma-fully depreciate yung investment, meron kang additional cash available to make new investment. That is good, no, on payback period. Okay, the shorter payback period, we can say that we have available funds later on after we recover all the investments that we have on that particular investment scheme, okay, to another investment. Okay, the fourth advantage is a short payback period reduces the risk of loss caused by changing economic conditions and other unavoidable reason. Yes, tama din po yun, no? Okay, once a shorter payback period na meron po tayo, we can at least know, if we cannot eliminate the risk, we can minimize the risk or reduce the risk of any losses that we are expect to incur because of any changes on the economy. For example, in this time of pandemic, if the company desires to have a shorter payback period, obviously itong mga company na merong at na naging agresibo to come up with a shorter payback period can able to sustain their business operation. Pero if the companies, for example, itong mga company that you invest too much but then the cash inflow is not quite good, hindi siya malaki, take note, the recovery of that investment matagal, and then if this condition, no, the pandemic condition nag-i-exist as of now, it would be difficult for the company to recover the investment. Okay? Kaya nga, tingnan nyo ngayon, there are businesses na nagsasara because they are expecting that they can recover it within 10 years, but then because of the condition that we have right now, and then hindi pa masyadong maganda yung cash inflow ng company, yung nangyari, nagsara at then nalugi tuloy. Kaya, it is better that we can recover, okay, the investment in a very not totally very short period, at least in a reasonable short period of time. Another advantage of payback period, this is very easy to compute based on what I have presented to you, no. Madali lang naman talaga siyang i-compute. Okay? Common sense nga lang siya. However, minsan lang ito lumalabas sa actual board exam. Pero, in most cases, no, even mga businesses, once they want to initially evaluate the investment, they tend to use the payback period kasi mas easy yung computation at it can provide immediately an evaluation about the investment. Okay, so that's the advantages of payback period. How about its disadvantages? The payback method does not take into account the time value of money. Yeah, yun lang yung problema. The disadvantage of payback period, we did not consider the time value of money. Ano po itong time value of money? Take note, the value of money is keep on changing. Okay? Because of interests, okay? Circulating in the interest existing, okay? Take note, interest is keep on fluctuating. So the value of your cash, probably it is 1,000 today, maybe even though 1,000 pa rin yung itsura, pero yung value niya, hindi na pang 1,000, okay? So, yun lang yung problema or disadvantage of the payback period. Posibleng we compute the payback period, naka-compute nga tayo na short-term period, pero take note that the value of money as time passes by is keep on changing. Okay? So, yun ang hindi po natin na-assess. If whether ito pong cash inflow na makukuha natin, at the time na darating tayo sa period na yan, same value pa rin po ba yan? Okay? Second, it does not consider the useful life of the assets and inflow of cash after payback period. Okay, the payback period will never consider the cash inflow after the useful life and even after the cash after the payback period that we computed. Kasi, what we are after lang naman is to determine when, at what period are we going to recover the said investment. Okay? So, that's it for our discussion on payback period. Okay?